In 1914, a significant incident in Canadian immigration history took place when the Komagata Maru, a Japanese steamship, arrived in Vancouver Harbour, carrying a group of Indian immigrants seeking entry into Canada. This event would go on to symbolize the discriminatory and exclusionary immigration policies prevalent at the time. The backdrop of this incident lay in Canada's increasingly restrictive immigration laws targeting Asian immigrants, particularly those from India. The Canadian government had enacted the Continuous Journey Regulation in 1908, which required immigrants to travel directly from their country of origin to Canada without making any stops along the way. This law was designed to deter immigrants from India who would often stop in other Asian countries before reaching Canada. The Komagata Maru's journey began in Kolkata, then Calcutta, India, on April 4, 1914. Its passengers were primarily Sikh, but also included Muslims and Hindus, who sought better economic opportunities and escape from political repression in their homeland under British colonial rule. The ship's owner, Gurdit Singh, an entrepreneur from Singapore, believed that the Continuous Journey Regulation was discriminatory and sought to challenge the Canadian government's policies by bringing the passengers to Vancouver. When the Komagata Maru reached Vancouver on May 23, 1914, it was met with hostility and resistance from the Canadian authorities. Only 22 of the 376 passengers on board were allowed to disembark, as they already held Canadian passports or had previously lived in Canada. The remaining passengers were subjected to a prolonged and distressing standoff. The Canadian government, in a clear display of discriminatory intent, used various tactics to prevent the passengers' entry. They cited the Continuous Journey Regulation and claimed that the passengers did not meet the required entry criteria. Additionally, they accused the passengers of being members of a revolutionary group in India, painting them as potential threats to national security. The passengers' predicament was compounded by the prevailing racist sentiments and xenophobia towards Asian immigrants in Canada. Newspapers fueled public opinion against the Komagata Maru passengers, spreading fear and misinformation about the so-called Hindu invasion. Racism and prejudice were rampant, and the authorities exploited these sentiments to further justify their actions. Over 2 months, the passengers endured a grueling and inhumane wait on board the Komagata Maru, anchored in Vancouver Harbour. They were denied access to basic necessities like food, water, and medical assistance, and their spirits were continuously dampened by the looming uncertainty of their fate. Finally, on July 23, 1914, the Canadian government forcibly removed the remaining passengers from the ship and escorted them back to India. Upon their arrival in Kolkata, British authorities detained many of the passengers, and tragically, clashes ensued between the passengers and local police, resulting in several deaths. The Komagata Maru incident was a glaring example of Canada's discriminatory immigration policies, highlighting the deep-rooted racism and xenophobia that prevailed during that period. The injustice faced by the passengers and the subsequent violence upon their return to India underscored the devastating impact of such discriminatory policies on human lives. As time passed, the Komagata Maru incident gained recognition as an important event in Canadian history. In 2008, the Canadian government formally apologized for its actions, acknowledging the past wrongs and the suffering inflicted on the passengers and their descendants. Today, the Komagata Maru incident stands as a poignant reminder of the importance of promoting tolerance, inclusion, and respect for all individuals regardless of their race, ethnicity, or nationality. It serves as a call to address historical injustices and to strive for a more equitable and compassionate society for all.